Hi, welcome to Analytics for All. This is a course on Excel for data science. This is our a data cleaning course here. In this course, we're going to be working on some data cleaning tasks such as splitting a string on a comma, how to trim off white space, and how to locate a bad email address. I like these kind of lessons. This lesson actually comes from a real world scenario. My wife works at a high school, and she has to submit this data for an Excel file uploaded to this website so they can load it into a database they're using. And it kept failing, and she was getting frustrated, so she sent it to me to try to clean it up. And so these are the steps I went through. Disclosure, I'm not using any data from her school. Everything on this page is completely made up and stuff, so don't worry about that. I'm not using anybody's name. But here's a general idea of what the data kind of look like. She's got this data set. It's really simple. We have an ID, student names, the grade they're in, and email address. And the things they want had a problem with. Number one, they need the student name split first and last name, which I know you were looking here. It seems pretty simple. It's only four, but I think her list was over 700 people, so it'd be a bit more complicated there. And also, they had some bad email addresses in there. There were some spaces I got rid of in the data set, and the people from the website she's working with, they were trying to upload to, they were telling her that there was some white space around the characters, which means there could be spaces, just literally like you hit the space bar after a word, and that can sometimes cause problems when you're loading to a data set. So let's go ahead and pop over and see what we can do. Now, as with all my lessons, I do have a full write-up on my website, analyticsforall.org. I'll put a link down in the description, but here's data cleaning, splitting name column, first, last name, and the descriptions of how to do this. Okay. Now, also, I want to point out down here, I actually have, you can download the student file I created. Again, it's only 4 rows. You can make it yourself if you want, but just in case you want to be lazy like I am, just download the file. There it is. Let's go ahead and now pop over into the Excel file and see what we got to do. Okay, here's our Excel file. So what's the first thing we want to do? The first thing we want to do is separate the student names. Now, you'll notice some of these students, like this first one here, actually has 2 last names, which is common in a lot of your Spanish cultures, also other cultures as well. And then we have a person down here who's got a first and middle name over here. So, but the point we want to do is because of this, because of the multitude of names, you can't just split by a space. We're going to split on the comma. And because we're going to now turn this into 2 columns, first thing we got to do is make some space here. So we're going to click on the grade, and I'm just going to insert a space here. There we go. So now I have a nice blank space. Go back, highlight the column I'm interested in, go up to data, right up here in the menu, and you'll notice your ribbon bar will change. This is your ribbon bar if you've never been told this. And of course, it's just off site here. Hold on 1 second. Let me adjust the sizing here. Okay, I slid a little over there, so I'm going to go ahead, click on B, and it's this text to columns here. Okay. Click on that, and a menu will come up. Now, we want delimited. What delimited means is there a character or a function such as a space or a tab that separates words for us. And that's what we want to make the separation on. In this case, we do have a delimiter. Fixed width is we're going to count by numbers. We're going to count by the number of characters, which doesn't really work with people's names because it's fixed width's great for things like social security numbers, phone numbers, those types of things. They all have a fixed width of numbers. But here we're going to go with the delimited. Hit next. Going to uncheck tab. Now watch the bottom here. This is what's going to happen is our data preview. We'll uncheck tab and we're going to click comma. So there we go. Now we have 2 columns. Last name, first name, split along the comma. Next, here, if after you make your split, maybe you need to change one to a number. Sometimes you have that. Here, it doesn't matter. They're both text, so we're just going to leave it alone. Hit finish, and there you go. So now all I have to do is go up here and change this to last name and make this first name. So we've taken care of that. Okay, so the next step we wanted to do is we wanted to see, hold on, let me fix this over here. Wanted to see if we can fix these email addresses. Okay, so one way to do that is the great thing about email addresses in an organization is unlike general email addresses like for customers, which may have Gmail, Hotmail, 100 different emails. If you're at a school or at your company, everybody pretty much has the last. For most companies, you have the last part of your email address is all the same. So in this case, I'm generically school.edu. So if I go back and count up to the @ sign, I have 11 characters. And you have to keep in mind, you have to count the period and the @ sign. So we're going to use what's called right trim, which is a function. So you just go equal, right, and we'll select our column. And then we'll right click. I'm sorry, not right click, comma, and then 11. And then hit enter. And there you go. That gives us just the email address right there. So it lets us know if there's a bad email address. We go down here and we screw. And you can see right here, because again, we're looking at only 4 columns, so this is pretty easy to do. You can see there's a mistake. This is a pound sign. That is not a real email that'll work. So what we want to do in there is we're going to go ahead and this works, say for 4 works, but like I say, when you have hundreds or thousands of people, you're not really going to see this. So another thing we can do is we can nest this right into an if statement. So look up here. I'm just going to go around it. I'm going to put if the right equals what we want, which is at school.edu. And remember, Excel likes the double quotes, not the single quotes. They're not a fan of single quotes for some reason. Comma. If it's right, I want 0. If it's wrong, I want 1. And just hit enter and scroll down. And you can see, well, that one came up as 1 because there's nothing there. But when you're looking down a list really fast of hundreds or thousands, you can tell that the ones will jump out. Plus, you could just do a simple this, a sum of all of it. You know, actually, see what I did wrong. I forgot to put my equal sign. Equals sum. Then just follow them, and it'll come back. You come back, you know you have 1. So, you know, if you had a bigger list with more problems, then you can go in there and say, okay, well, I see the problem, so I'm going to go ahead and fix it. Go up here, change that to that, and my problem goes away. So I'm good. So I can get rid of this because I took care of all that. Now, the last thing we wanted to worry about was the white space. And again, the white space can be situations like here. You don't see it. Notice that? I just put, if you go back up here, I just put a bunch of spaces after there, and there's nothing there. Just same thing, I can go to here, and I can put a bunch of spaces there, and you don't see them. But when I go back in here, the spaces are there, okay? And that can be a problem, especially when you're uploading to a database, because databases expect certain things. They're not expecting spaces, especially sometimes when you copy over. You can have hundreds of spaces, which will overrule the size of the column you can go into. So one way to get rid of this is, let's go ahead, we'll use this as an example. Let's go back over to our, I call this our scratch column, because we're just going to work in here. I hit trim. Then I go over here to this. And I hit there. Now if I go up, do this for all of them. Now if I copy this, and I come back to here, and I say paste special, then I just go to this one right here. All this paste is the values. It will not paste the formula. So all you have in there is the solution now. So now if I come up here to Gabriella, all the spaces are gone. Okay, so I can just go through there, delete this, and I can submit it now. Everything if I just would have trimmed, in my example, I would have gone and trimmed every single column here and put it back and pasted the way I did with the paste special, and we're good to go. So what we've done again, we've split last and first name using, if you remember, data and text to columns, and we used the delimiter. Okay. Then we checked for a bad email using a nested if statement where we had the right cutoff in there, and then we also went through and used trim to get rid of white space. So there you go. There's a quick data cleaning exercise in Excel. Thank you very much. This is Analytics for All. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe. Leave me some comments down below, anything else you'd like me to work on. And also check out my website. Thank you very much. Hope to see you again. Thanks a lot. This is Analytics for All.